In this video, we'll be covering a generational beatdown. Luffy versus Blueno. This fight was pure signification of how a second fight will never be like the first. Luffy during his raid in Enies lobby had the unwavering will to save his friend held hostage, Robin. So much so that he was ahead of everyone else in his crew, moving off of pure vibes. Luffy went in with no plan as he left his crew at the front of an elite guarded world government establishment. This man Luffy put himself in the worst position, yet he was terrorizing Marines left and right. He was making light work of them. Finally making it to the rooftop of the courthouse, there was one more obstacle in his way. An agent of the toughest military secret groups, CP9. Now, I'm not trying to glaze Blueno here, but there's a reason he's got a black tux on. Look at the pull-up. He's literally spawning out of thin air. Why is he aura farming so hard? Luffy had to fight an enemy with one of the weirdest fruits, the Door fruit. Now, although this fruit was strange, Luffy wasn't unfamiliar with the target right in front of him. And that's because this wasn't a debut battle for Luffy. This was his rematch. Just a flashback to Water 7, when Luffy faced CP9 for the first time, he was gassed, tired, hungry, and he got washed. He couldn't put a scratch on any of the members, and the one who was trolling him the most was Blueno. He was giving Luffy a college lecture on the 6 powers while flexing his strength. Every punch Luffy threw and missed was a lesson in the harsh reality that the gap between him and CP9 was a lot wider than he thought. This battle was clockwork for Blueno, and honestly, it was probably a forgettable one. But to Luffy, Luffy knew if he wanted to protect his crew, the ones he loved, he had to get stronger. Flash forward to the present, and before the fight even starts, there's something completely off here. Something that isn't right. Do y'all feel it? I'm talking about Luffy's demeanor. Imagine getting your butt handed to you, and I mean bad, and when you finally face the individual again, you're not scared, you're calm. Extremely calm. Calm to the point where you're still name calling and even joking with the guy. Blueno can't tell whether Luffy is being serious here or not, so he reminds him of the crime he's committing, how critical it truly is. And because of this, he asks one more question. How long are you planning to keep fighting? And Luffy's response here is why he's becoming one of my favorite MCs ever. He slides his feet, lowers his stance, grins from ear to ear, and stares straight into Blueno's eyes before saying, So the fight begins. Luffy starts the fight running up on Blueno, charging up the meanest rifle. Look at the rotation on that. Blueno sets up the iron body to counter, but Luffy smashes that chunk, landing a mean body shot, almost putting down the guy at round start. Look at the face change. Luffy ain't playing no games. Luffy follows up with the Gatling, but Blueno tries to shave his way out of it. But hold on, he's not as fast as he thinks he is because Luffy can see him now. Luffy tracks him down with the aimbot, and Blueno catches a left hook straight to the face. This isn't a battle. This is pure dominance right now. This was just the beginning of the fight. It wasn't the deciding round, it was a message. Things aren't the same. A memo to Blueno that he's willing to go to the end for his crew. The fight continues as Blueno tries to switch up his attack. Dashing on air, Luffy tries to slam him with a punch, but Blueno finally goes for the counter using the Tempest Kick. Luffy's reflexes improved as he dodges the attack by a hair. Blueno goes for 2 more follow-ups and combines his iron body and Tempest Kick technique, rotating as a will of death. Luffy's on the back foot here as he's barely making it out of these flurries. Blueno realizes this fight isn't going to be won by brute strength alone though, and he starts to be more tactical. With the smoke from his previous attack, Blueno uses it as a distraction to use his Door fruit. This is some high IQ plays right here. He uses his powers and plants a trapdoor under Luffy. He finally has Luffy where he wants him, and to make sure this next hit was inevitable, he opens a door in Luffy's face. Yeah, this scene made me feel all wonky. A revolving door on your insides? What does that even feel like? What does breathing feel like? With Luffy still in confusion, Blueno goes for the Tempest Kick, and I thought this was going to be a big point for him, getting a decent shot, but Luffy's fine. He's dusting himself off with no sense of urgency. Doorman's starting to get flustered, and because of it, he starts throwing everything out of his bag. Blueno jumps and goes for the roundhouse at Luffy's head. Luffy lunges back to dodge it and follows up with the straight. Blueno tries to mix him up, but Luffy's third sense is kicking in. He's just faster than him. Blueno has barely landed and Luffy jolts back and hits him with the flurry. Doorman tries to block at the body and sneak a kick to shift Luffy's balance, but he checks it, deflecting it entirely. They both take a pause here and it's starting to look a little even. But Luffy understands to finish the battle, he has to kick it up a notch. Pause on this real quick. When I heard this, I thought to myself, you wasn't kicking it up already? Luffy reflects on all his losses and lets Blueno know he's found a new way to fight. He squats down, heats up with steam emitting from his body, and hits the iconic pose we all know to be Segundo. The atmosphere of this fight has changed. The battle has hit its climax and this will be the final exchange. Before they even get started, Luffy says how glad he was to meet Blueno. And just so y'all know, if somebody is thanking you before fighting you, bro, you better hope you got enough time to escape. Doorman is about to turn into a folding door if you catch my drift. This Goofy is not understanding the direness of his situation and he's trying to ask questions. Luffy doesn't answer none of them and just puts his hand up, patiently waiting for an action. Then Blueno goes for his shave and the final round begins, but Luffy denies that mess with the nastiest straight that Blueno has ever seen. He wipes the smoke, but Luffy's already gone. No, he ain't. That's another straight to the face. Luffy follows up and shoots him with the rifle, and while he's flying back from the damage, Luffy stops him mid-air and gut punches him to the ground. The disrespect. Blueno looks up and he still can't see Luffy. It's a horror film at this point, getting jump scared at any moment. Luffy glides in and hits him with another straight, and the meanest three-piece combo comes up next. He hits him with the stamp, spear, and a missile combo. Oh my goodness. Blueno is moving off of sheer will at this point because he's no longer at Enies lobby. Yeah, he's definitely at Vinland. He understands there's no way he's keeping up with Luffy, so he jumps in his door dimension to catch a break. He tries to be tactical like earlier, but it doesn't work. He's a snail compared to Luffy now. Luffy brings his arms back, and with no more energy to move, Blueno tries to tank this final hit with all his might, and he takes a bazooka straight to the chest. Blueno stands there, seemingly wait, no, never mind, he's knocked out. He is gone. Luffy wins this fight by knockout. What a redeeming moment for Straw Hat. This knockout hit different. Blueno was just another step forward, but to Luffy, it was everything he'd worked for since his last fall. This fight wasn't about proving who's stronger, it was proof that when you take a loss and turn it into purpose, there's no wall, no government that can stand in your way. Luffy didn't just win a fight, he reclaimed a piece of himself. Because the real get back, it wasn't about payback here. It's about becoming someone who can't lose the same way twice. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. God